announces Russia's hybrid war, aiming to destabilize Western Balkan democracies. Montenegro's leaked documents show U.S. intelligence on Israel's plans to attack Iran, sources say, as pro-Iranian account leaks alleged U.S. intelligence on Israel's attack plans. U.S. investigating unauthorized release of classified documents on Israel attack plans. Kamala Harris publicly agrees with protester accusing Israel of genocide with saying, "What he's talking about, it's real." Al Arabiya reports as, a Palestinian-American cardiologist loses 175 family members in Gaza.
Video published by Ukraine allegedly shows North Korean soldiers in Russia captured Leopard 2 resurfaces at Russia's main tank factory. Ukraine says it struck airfield and largest explosives factory in Russia. U.S. hits Houthis with precision strikes on weapon facilities in Yemen. Biden tells Netanyahu it's time to end Gaza war after Sinwar's elimination. Israel says Yahya Sinwar, Hamas top leader in Gaza, killed in major blow to militant group.
With first step to world war. North Korea preparing 10,000 soldiers to join Russia's war, Zelensky confirms. Trump says Ukraine's Zelensky should never have let that war start. U.S. sanctions force Sputnik radio off the air, as 2 U.S. radio stations end Russian-backed propaganda programming. The head of Mali's military junta appoints himself to the highest rank in the army. Russia pushes New World Order agenda as it hosts beefed-up BRICS summit. Bloomberg comments as Vladimir Putin is gaining in his fight to divide Europe. UK's foreign chief predicts quick end to Russia and Ukraine war if Trump wins.
Trauma. Suicide plaguing Israeli soldiers upon return from Gaza, reported by CNN. Meta's Israel policy chief tried to suppress pro-Palestinian Instagram posts.
BBC comments as, Moscow had high hopes for Trump in 2016. It's more cautious this time. 5 months ago, Washington Post reported that Donald Trump says he would bomb Moscow and Beijing. Russia, UAE trade tripled during last 3 years, Putin says. Russia and Ukraine each bring home 95 prisoners of war in UAE-mediated swap. Anti-drone drone developed by Ukraine to take out Iranian-designed kamikazes.
India says it reached deal with China on army patrols along disputed border. Brazil's Lula cancels BRICS trip after minor brain hemorrhage from fall. Putin says his presence at G20 in Brazil would undermine work there.
Trump works the fry station and holds a drive-through news conference at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. Trump selling a nearly $1 million MAGA experience amid New York rally. Breitbart reports that Trump said Madison Square Garden rally sold out in less than 3 hours. Going to be fantastic. Elon Musk's election promise of $1 million daily giveaway sparks call for probe. Israel names Al Jazeera reporters as Gaza militants. Network condemns unfounded allegations. Strike on Iran will make world understand Israel's might, says defense minister. With up to 1,000 missiles, Iranian officials disclose potential retaliation plans, as reported by the New York Times. IDF soldiers should refuse orders that may be war crimes, Israeli former security advisor tells BBC. CNN reports that more than 130 Israeli reservists signed letter refusing to fight in Gaza and Lebanon.
U.S. confirms North Korea has sent 3,000 troops to Russia for training and possible Ukraine combat. In the U.S., DHS is seeking more than 600 migrants for possible ties to Venezuelan gang. Terrorist attack on state-owned Turkish aerospace industries kills at least 4 people, official says. Turkey hits Kurdish militant targets after a deadly attack on defense company. X admits error led to reinstatement of key suspect in Jamal Khashoggi murder. UK-based dissident can sue Saudi Arabia for alleged spyware, court rules. U.S. charges Iranian Revolutionary Guards official in assassination plot. In Ethiopia, UN chief advocates for permanent Security Council seats for Africa. Brazil, Lula reiterates opposition to Venezuela's entry into BRICS. 2 months ago, Venezuelan government has authoritarian bias, says Brazil's Lula. Taiwan rejects South African demand to move its representative office from capital. China holds live fire drills on island closest to Taiwan. In India, Supreme Court says secularism a core part of the constitution. Holy See and China extend provisional agreement on appointment of bishops. As Synod features Chinese members, British Lord draws attention to religious persecution.
Montenegro's 2028 EU entry goal is reachable, von der Leyen says. Nearly 1 in 4 French people believe that democracy is not the best political system. Hard-right Dutch government approves unprecedented package of measures to control migration.
AP sources point that Chinese hackers targeted phones of Trump, Vance, people associated with Harris campaign. Reuters reports as accused Iranian hackers successfully peddle stolen Trump email. Russian actors made fake video depicting mail-in ballots for Trump being destroyed, FBI says. In a joint statement, ODNI, FBI and CISA says, Russian actors manufactured and amplified a recent video that falsely depicted an individual ripping up ballots in Pennsylvania.
U.S. trade head urges Brazil to consider risks of China Belt and Road Initiative, as Brazil eyes China's Belt and Road Initiative. U.S. says to reconsider. India does not share Japanese PM Shigeru Ishiba's view of Asian NATO, says India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. China says Australia plagued by systemic racism after diplomat raises concerns about human rights in Tibet and Xinjiang.
Kyiv preparing internal plan to strengthen Ukraine. Zelensky confirms. Russian lawmakers ratify pact with North Korea. As U.S. confirms that Pyongyang sent troops to Russia, South Korea warns it may send Ukraine weapons after North Korea sent troops to Russia. South and North Korea troops potentially entering Ukraine war unlikely to stoke regional conflict, analysts say.
At BRICS Summit, Putin welcomes Trump's comments on ending Ukraine war. Putin can't recall Trump threatening to blow up Moscow. At least 7 countries resisting Ukraine's NATO membership invitation, Politico reports. The Telegraph comments as, Russia is on the verge of collapse. Europe cannot abandon targeted sanctions.
Apple expands tools to help businesses connect with customers, as any verified business can now create a consistent brand and location presence across apps that customers use every day, including Apple Maps, Wallet, and Mail. Winamp deletes entire GitHub source code repo after a rocky few weeks. President of Iran says, "We will respond to any stupidity with tact and intelligence." Iran should not make mistake of responding to Israel's retaliatory strikes, announces US. Biden says Israel apparently only hit Iran military sites, with "my hope is this is the end." Israel sent message to Iran ahead of attack and warned against response.
Satellite photos show Israel hit Iran former nuclear weapons test building, missile facilities researchers say. Israel's first open attack on Iran targets missile sites and apparently spares oil and nuclear ones. International court prosecutor who charged Netanyahu faces sexual misconduct accusation.
EU urged to create intelligence body to counter external threats. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan elevated to BRICS partner status as alliance expands, as 13 countries receive BRICS partner status. Bangladesh bans student wing of ousted Sheikh Hasina's party.
Japan's ruling coalition to lose parliamentary majority, exit polls show. Georgia's ruling party wins pivotal election, early results show, as opposition parties cry foul. Uzbekistan set to elect parliament loyal to president. Chinese self-driving startup Pony AI files for US IPO. Unity releases Unity Engine 6, with open-source AI models over Sentis, automated game opponents and game outcome predictions using AI, and simpler multiplayer game creation. Voice actors in Japan create group to fight unauthorized AI use of their voices, as Yuki Kaji teams up with Code Geass and Hunter x Hunter voice actors, after AI becomes the latest threat to the anime industry.
Win for Musk Starlink, as India says no to spectrum auction pitch from Ambani, Mittal. Elon Musk's X dodges EU's DMA, as Block decides platform isn't important enough for fairness controls, as Elon Musk's X evades compliance with landmark EU antitrust regulation.
Deepfake romance scam raked in $46 million from men across Asia, police say. Brazil arrests US dudi hacker tied to FBI, national public data breaches. 2 months ago, US dudi hacker, behind $3 billion SSN leak, reveals himself as Brazilian citizen. In the US, 2 Sudanese nationals indicted for alleged role in anonymous Sudan cyberattacks on hospitals, government facilities, and other critical infrastructure in Los Angeles and around the world.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway hikes its SiriusXM stake to 32% after Liberty deal. Activist Starboard Value has $1 billion Pfizer stake, taps former executives for help, sources say. Toyota joins with Hyundai's Boston Dynamics on AI-powered robots. Expedia shares gain on report that Uber explored making a bid. The FTC makes it easier to cancel subscriptions like streaming services, memberships, and Prime. McKinsey to pay at least $500 million in DOJ opioid probe. 3 years ago it has been reported as, McKinsey never told the FDA it was working for opioid makers while also working for the agency.
Nebius set to resume Nasdaq trading after completing split from Russia's Yandex. 3 months ago, Yandex NV finalizes $5.4 billion deal to sell Russian businesses, and Yandex NV renamed Nebius Group after Russia split. U.S. Cellular to sell certain spectrum licenses to Verizon in $1 billion deal. Fujisoft sticks with KKR despite higher takeover offer from Bain. FT commented as, KKR and Bain in all-out $4 billion fight for Japan's Fujisoft.
China just triggered more stimulus measures, even as it says its economy is showing stable growth. China's GDP growth slowed down to 4.6%. Gallup announced that majority of Americans feel worse off than 4 years ago.
In the U.S., Raytheon Company to pay over $950 million in connection with defective pricing, foreign bribery, and export control schemes. Treasury announces enhanced fraud detection processes, including machine learning AI, prevented and recovered over $4 billion in fiscal year 2024. FCC mandates universal hearing aid compatibility for all mobile phones.
X looks to steer lawsuits to Musk's favorite Tesla investor judge. New records show Texas judge on X case didn't sell his Tesla shares after taking the suit. The specialists who authenticate trading cards for eBay are rallying for a union contract. India plans laptop import curbs to boost local manufacturing, sources say. Apple celebrates 10 years of Apple Pay, with Klarna being available to UK and US users, and Apple Pay accessible on third-party web browsers and computers. ECB cuts interest rate again as inflation appears under control.
Moldova says yes to pro-EU constitutional changes by tiny margin. Kremlin says Moldova's elections were not free, and results raise many questions. Recently, Moldova president blames interference for potential EU referendum loss. I'll stand for Russian president when Putin's gone, Navalny's widow tells BBC. Trudeau has wrecked Canada and India political relations, says expelled envoy, and Trudeau ruined bilateral ties for political gains, says India's outgoing envoy. 4 days ago, India made horrific mistake, violating Canadian sovereignty, says Trudeau.
Cigna resumes merger discussions with Humana after talks ended last year. In the UK Whitehall, the state mechanism to deliver plan to mutualize crisis hit post office. Indian tycoon Ratan Tata dies aged 86.
U.S. shields Lebanese citizens from deportation amid Israel's war. Cubans struggle as power not fully restored to the island after days of blackout. Justin Trudeau testifies that Russia funded Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson in support of their anti-vax COVID claims, as Tucker Carlson funded by Russian propaganda machine. Justin Trudeau testifies under oath. China's rise in research papers has an unfair home bias, say US and Japan studies. Japan pressed by US lawmakers to strengthen chip curbs on China. Reportedly, China posts slowest growth since aftermath of zero-COVID curbs.
In the U.S., regulator investigates Tesla's automated driving feature after fatal crash. TSMC says it will take prompt action to ensure compliance after reported U.S. probe into possible work with Huawei. Malicious ads exploited Internet Explorer 0-day to drop malware.
FTC's rule banning fake online reviews goes into effect. Celebrity jet tracking accounts have vanished from Threads and Instagram, as Meta suspends accounts tracking Trump, Bezos jets, echoing Elon Musk's X. Google Messages adding enhanced spam protection. Sensitive content warnings for nudity.
Cryptocurrency transactions volumes spike nearly 25% in Brazil. Brazil's central bank chief sees huge de-anchoring of inflation expectations. Peru's former President Toledo gets more than 20 years in prison in case linked to corruption scandal.
AI bubble will burst 99% of players, says Baidu CEO. Deutsche Bank and Codex AI launch white paper to explore the transformative potential of generative AI in banking. 7 Israelis arrested for spying on behalf of Iran. Suspects accused of collecting information on targeted military bases. Reportedly, Iran leaking sensitive information on top Israeli officials. Israel strikes banks across Lebanon to hit Hezbollah's finances. IDF making life impossible in northern Gaza, UN says.
MetLife said to be in talks to buy Tycoon Lee's Pinebridge assets outside of China. A week after China's war games, U.S. and Canadian warships sail through Taiwan Strait. Close your eyes and buy U.S. stocks, not China stocks, Muddy Waters' Carson Block says. Mexico's Senate votes to shield judicial reform from top court scrutiny. In Mexico, Televisa chair steps down amid U.S. Department of Justice probe into FIFA bribery. 1 year ago, in USA, Mexico's Televisa reaches $95 million investor settlement over FIFA bribery roll. 7 years ago, broadcasters Fox Sports, Globo, Grupo Televisa SAB implicated at FIFA corruption trial in the U.S. U.S. government witness in FIFA trial says media companies paid bribes.
Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft in race for $4 trillion market cap. Stage is set for tech stocks for another 20% move higher in 2025. Nvidia will win the race to a $4 trillion market cap, but the long-term big tech battle might be different, experts say. Goldman Sachs announced 4 months ago, generative AI could raise global GDP by 7%. Judge sides with FTC, blocking Kate Spade and Michael Kors merger.
In the U.S., federal judge announced that Meta, Google, TikTok must face schools addiction claims. Biden set to apologize to Native Americans for Indian boarding schools. Federal agency closes investigation into RFK Jr. over dead whale carcass, saying allegation unfounded.
In the U.S., CFPB orders Apple and Goldman Sachs to pay over $89 million for Apple Card failures. In the U.S., reportedly, 15 corporations used Trump tax cuts to pump $839 billion into buybacks and dividends. Starbucks suspends 2025 guidance as sales slump 7% in Q4.
Yellen says isolationism made America and the world worse off in speech to global finance leaders. Amazon says it has a First Amendment right to union bust. Kamala Harris backs $15 minimum wage in fight with Trump over pay.
Zelensky signs law allowing foreigners to serve as officers in Ukrainian military. Ukraine's Zelensky says North Korean troops are poised to join the war. Cancels UN chief's visit.
U.S. Labor Board wrongly ordered Tesla's Musk to delete anti-union tweet, court rules. UK banks facing billions more in payouts after auto loan ruling. Lloyds suffers £3 billion hit after car finance court ruling. Russia raises interest rate to 21%, its highest in decades. Putin ally warns most companies in Russia face collapse.
In India, working with international agencies, Intelligence Bureau to ban hoax bomb perpetrators, announced by Aviation Minister Naidu. Israeli forces kill Hamas operative in Tulkarem plotting imminent attack. Poland arrests 4 in plot to mail explosives to Canada and U.S.
France and Europe need to get finances in order, ECB not says, and ECB must stay nimble on rates because of weak economy, not says. Europe's still best place to live, Irish central bank chief says. Bundesbank chief is mad at Russia's calls for global cooperation.
LRA rebel commander jailed in Uganda for war crimes in landmark case. In New York City, Queens gun traffickers sold assault rifles and brought inoperable RPG to NYC, authorities say. Reportedly, Bitcoin miners take divergent paths 6 months after revenue halving. BlackRock's ETF chief says 75% of its Bitcoin buyers are crypto fans new to Wall Street. BlackRock eyes biddle for derivatives collateral in crypto exchanges.
Stripe in talks to buy crypto startup Bridge for $1 billion. Sam Altman's WorldCoin rebrands as World and launches updated iris scanning orb. FBI arrests man for SEC social media hack over fake Bitcoin ETF approval post.
Robinhood launches desktop platform, adds futures and index options trading to app. Ripple leads $25 million round in Bitnomial as the derivatives exchange launches futures trading platform in U.S.
Montreal dockworkers to launch one-day strike amid labor standoff. French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe orders a curfew a day after a strike prompted a blackout. Elderly workers now dominate South Korea's labor force as population ages.
China has punished 589,000 people for graft in 9 months. In Argentina, the country's third-largest social security institution was raided for alleged money laundering. In the U.S., Alibaba agrees to $433.5 million settlement in shareholder lawsuit.
Former CEO of the defunct Digital Mine faces Bitcoin fraud charges to the tune of $1.5 million. Barcelona and Real Madrid legends accused of endorsing a €3 billion crypto Ponzi. Litecoin's 2.6 years HODL time ranks second only to Bitcoin, beats Ethereum.
Layer K announces new feature set tailored for blockchain content creators. Coinbase introduces Based Agent 4, creating AI agents in 3 minutes.
Microsoft places assessment in investing in Bitcoin as a voting item for December shareholder meeting. Elon Musk owned X's India revenue and profit declined 90% in financial year 24. UBS CEO says Europe's fragmented banking markets increase costs. HBO documentary identifies Peter Todd as Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. Nigeria court releases Binance executive detained for months. IMF declares global fight against high inflation is almost won.
Ireland drafting urgent crypto laws before EU money laundering rules. European Central Bank claims early Bitcoin investors exploit new buyers. Trump family will get 75% of crypto token revenue, as Trump family gets 75% of crypto coin revenue, has no liability, new document reveals.
Eric Adams' legal hopes and corruption case could depend on Trump victory, claimed by sources. In the U.S., 4.8 M borrowers, including 1 M in public service, have had student debt forgiven, Biden administration says. L.A. Catholic Church payouts for clergy abuse top $1.5 billion with new record settlement. As 1 day ago, Archdiocese of Los Angeles agrees to pay $880 million settlement to clergy sex abuse victims.
J.D. Vance says Donald Trump did not lose the 2020 election. Donald Trump bears responsibility for January 6 attack. Jack Smith argues in new filing. Trump, running for president at 78, says only stupid people put old people in top federal roles. FBI quietly revised 2022 crime data to show violent offenses rose rather than dropped. In the U.S., former GOP Representative Liz Cheney endorses Democrat Susan Wild. Trump once again tries to silence Stormy Daniels before election. Claimed in a report, Italy passes anti-surrogacy law that effectively bars gay couples from becoming parents. FTX reaches $228 million deal with crypto company Bybit. Victims sue WazirX over $235 million hack in class action lawsuit. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo and Bank of America refuse to define unauthorized transaction, as customers lose $320 million to scams on Zelle, claims a report.
Russia publishes new crypto law expanding state control over digital assets. Wall Street to surpass Satoshi as top Bitcoin holder this year. Analysts expect $200,000 BTC soon. Bank of England to press on with digital currency in case banks fall short, Bailey says, and Bitcoin will not replace cash, Bank of England Governor Bailey says. Dutch government unveils measure that curbs exports of quantum technology. Chinese drone maker DJI sues U.S. Defense Department over military ties blacklisting. 1 month ago it has been announced as U.S. legislation barring DJI drones undermines American interests by the company. 2 years ago, U.S. puts Chinese drone giant DJI on military ties blacklist. 7 months ago, DJI details efforts to avert the potential $116 billion economic impact of U.S. blacklisting its drones. 8 years ago, USA's ICE had published an intelligence bulletin saying, DJI likely providing U.S. critical infrastructure and law enforcement data to Chinese government.
Trump says people from Fox helped him write Al Smith dinner speech. The network denies it. Trump says Fox shouldn't air negative ads. Pew Research announces that in the U.S., Republicans and young adults now nearly as likely to trust info from social media as from national news outlets.
UK Labour Party accused of foreign interference over campaigning on behalf of Kamala Harris, as Labour activists campaigning for Kamala Harris in US likely to break electoral law. Tim Walz defends queer and trans youth at length in interview with Glennon Doyle. NY Magazine comments as, Trump too exhausted to do interviews with unfriendly outlets. NYT comments as, Trump thinks the border got him elected in 2016. He's convinced it will do so again. In the US, Google to block election ads after polls close on Election Day. Amazon will stream election night coverage hosted by Brian Williams. Independent review finds systemic Secret Service failures enabled first Trump assassination attempt.
Foreign porn websites blocked in France for lack of age control checks. Trump says Apple CEO Cook called him with concerns about EU penalties. Donald Trump says Tim Cook is a better Apple CEO than Steve Jobs. EU may consider revenue from other Elon Musk businesses if it finds X, report says.
In France, Marine Le Pen's niece starts own party but backs Anne for president. Switzerland expels Austrian far-right figure Martin Sellner. Undercover film exposing UK far-right activists pulled from London Festival. And director of far-right documentary pulled from London Film Festival says, fear is its own form of censorship. Trump says, China respects him because she knows he is crazy. 5 days ago, China deploys record 125 warplanes in large-scale military drill and warning to Taiwan, and Taiwan military on high alert as Chinese drills encircle the island. Xi Jinping calls on China's army to step up preparations for war. She says China willing to be a partner, friend with the U.S. Taiwan reports surrounded by 153 Chinese military aircraft during drills.
Moldova holds election. EU referendum amid Russian interference claims. EU leaders to discuss stricter measures to curb arrivals of asylum seekers, and EU leaders embrace foreign return centers to counter illegal migration. It has been commented as call for jet set. Tax on Europe's frequent flyers could raise billions, and Europeans made 6% more tourism trips in 2023.
From Iran, 7 individuals and 7 entities sanctioned in response to Iran's missile transfer to Russia by the European Council. Israel vows Iran will pay for Hezbollah attack on Netanyahu home. Tehran distances itself. Iran hosts joint naval drills with Russia, Oman, and Indian Ocean.
Kamala Harris defends her economic plan and insists she won't be more of Joe Biden, in a tense interview with Fox News. J.D. Vance faces backlash for referring to his children as his wife's kids in new interview. Tim Walz struggles with shotgun at pheasant hunt, gets mocked. Mark Cuban says, the election is now a battle between Kamala Harris and Elon Musk, not Donald Trump, and it has been commented as, Mark Cuban wants Elon Musk and Kamala Harris to be friends. Piers Morgan comments on New York Post as, Trump's genius McDonald's stunt will fry Kamala at the ballot box. McDonald's tells workers it doesn't endorse political candidates after Trump visit.
Harris' interview with Fox News showcases a change in strategy for Democrats with network. It has been commented as, Democrats are helping restore Fox News to cable dominance. Steve Ballmer has spent $100 million in a new twist on political giving. Arm the Public with Facts says, Microsoft billionaire fights U.S. election disinformation. Trump tax plans could exempt 93 million Americans from income taxes. Russian propaganda unit appears to be behind spread of false Tim Walz sexual abuse claims. 5 days ago, a video surfaces as Tim Walz assaulted high school student Matthew Metro in 1997. In the U.S., Congress House panel finds Trump assassination event preventable in interim report. 1 in 5 Republicans want Trump to call election invalid if he loses. Trump proposals could drain Social Security in 6 years, a budget group says. Biden to propose that insurers cover over-the-counter birth control. In crypto, $2 billion wagered on the next president, and billions in election bets raise the stakes of the presidential race.
Salon comments as, if Trump wins, blame the New York Times. Harris has no current plans to campaign with Biden before Election Day. Harris says Trump's profanity, vulgar remarks will repel voters, and Harris says Trump's behavior demeans the presidency after vulgar remarks. Donald Trump groped me in what felt like a twisted game with Jeffrey Epstein, former model alleges. Wrong way driver passes Harris motorcade on Milwaukee Highway. McDonald's location visited by Trump attracts negative reviews, causing Yelp to disable comments.
McConnell says MAGA movement is completely wrong, and Reagan wouldn't recognize Trump's GOP. Justice Department warns Elon Musk that his $1 million giveaway to registered voters may be illegal. In the TikTok election, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris v. for younger voters.
Austria president hands runner-up Conservatives' path to rule. Donald Trump files legal complaint against UK Labour Party over help for Kamala Harris. Trump set to go on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Polymarket, crypto betting platform cracks down on US-based users, as whale bets on Trump. Reportedly the Polymarket whale is placing as many as 71 Trump bets per minute. Politico comments as, a wave of crypto-friendly lawmakers is about to crash Congress. Trump excludes Asian and European cars from vehicle tax break plan. Qualcomm announces collaboration with Google aimed at advancing digital transformation in automotive. Li Auto and Mercedes-Benz AG select Qualcomm's Snapdragon Elite tier automotive platforms for their future commercialized vehicles. TSMC told US of chip in Huawei product after TechInsights finding, source says. As Huawei Technologies' latest AI chips were produced by TSMC.
Radio station in Poland fired its journalists and replaced them with AI presenters. NVIDIA supplier SK Hynix reports record third-quarter financial results amid strong AI memory demand. NVIDIA to supply AI chips to Reliance, partner with Infosys, TCS. NVIDIA CEO says India should focus on exporting AI rather than chips.
In the U.S., senators press for Inspector General probe of Biden and Harris administration weaponizing Department of Justice and FTC leaks. Democratic lawmakers request special counsel investigation into whether Jared Kushner acted as unregistered foreign agent. 20 days ago it has been reported that Trump's son-in-law Kushner has discussed U.S. and Saudi diplomacy with Saudi Crown Prince. Trump says he's open to pardoning Hunter Biden. In Trump versus Harris 2024 polls, Trump up in 3 new surveys, Harris leads in 2 others. As per Scripps News and Ipsos poll, Americans are bracing for violence but prepared to accept election results. Election betting site Polymarket says, Trump whale identified as French traitor.
In the U.S., doctor delays federally funded puberty blockers report for political reasons. Politico comments as, with their just over it, how Trump has converted male frustration into a movement. Quarter of Americans fear civil war after election, British The Times newspaper poll shows.
Georgia election official says, battleground state fended off cyber attack likely from a foreign country. Linus Torvalds affirms expulsion of Russian maintainers, on remove some entries due to various compliance requirements thread, with the various compliance requirements, are not just a U.S. thing.
The Wall Street Journal reports that, federal investigators probe cryptocurrency firm Tether. Tether CEO says, he sees no indication of U.S. probe. Reportedly, cryptocurrencies dip after report of U.S. probe of Tether. Hacker returns $19.3 million to drained U.S. government crypto wallet. In the U.S., Biden and Harris administration releases proposed rules to authorize debt relief to nearly 8 million borrowers experiencing hardship. UN report says, nations must close huge emissions gap in new climate pledges and deliver immediate action, or 1.5 degrees centigrade lost. Also, continuation of current policies will lead to a catastrophic temperature rise of up to 3.1 degrees centigrade. In the U.S., Biden administration expands tax credit for producing solar, wind and battery components. Space Solar and Transition Labs to deliver space-based solar power to Iceland by 2030, as Iceland poised to tap space-based solar energy by 2030 in landmark deal.
China rivalry will continue into the next decade, U.S. ambassador tells NBC News. Bloomberg comments as, China plays nice with U.S. partners ahead of possible Trump return. Taiwan says blockade would be act of war, as China holds more drills. Chinese official urges Apple to continue deepening presence in China.
Europe mustn't become world's museum, Michel tells ANSA. Georgia prepares for a divisive election which could determine its future in Europe. Barnier says Italy's migrant deal with Albania does not seem doable in France. Migrants return from Albania to Italy after court ruling. TKO Group to acquire IMG Professional Bull Riders and on location from Endeavor for $3.25 billion. Alien Romulus sequel and a secret new Predator movie in the works at 20th Century Studios. Maurizio Catalan's infamous banana will be sold at Sotheby's. The estimate is $1 million.
Putin says Russia won't make concessions to end war on Ukraine. Satellite images show major expansion at Russian site with secret bioweapons passed. Israel strikes Iran military targets, Tehran says damage limited.
Donald Trump tells Joe Rogan the biggest mistake of his presidency was picking bad, disloyal people. The Blaze comments as, Trump's four-star bully chief of staff John Kelly was a traitor within. ADL under fire for silence on Trump's alleged Hitler praise. Trump denies making positive comments about Hitler. 2 days ago, Trump likened to a fascist by General John Kelly, his former chief of staff. Reuters reports that Europe seeks to underpin Russia sanctions, fearing Trump overhaul.
Elon Musk's secret talks with Putin ramped up during his Twitter takeover, claimed in a Wall Street Journal report. NASA chief calls for investigation into report that Musk and Putin have spoken regularly. Reportedly, Elon Musk has spent more than $130 million on Trump and the GOP this year. Washington Post comments as, Elon Musk's Starlink satellite business is set to boom if Trump wins.
The Wrap reported that LA Times planned case against Trump series alongside Kamala Harris endorsement before owner quashed it. Washington Post won't endorse in White House race for first time since 1980s, and Bezos made decision to kill Harris endorsement, reports Washington Post. Salon comments as, billionaires have broken media. Washington Post's non-endorsement is a sickening moral collapse. The Post endorses Donald Trump for president, the clear choice for a better future.
The Wall Street Journal comments as, Harris struggles to distinguish candidacy from Biden. Mozambique ruling party declared winner of election amid fraud claims. UK willing to hand over Gaza intelligence to war crimes court.
SCMP comments as, to be a Belt and Road education hub, Hong Kong must teach in Mandarin. Commonwealth leaders say time has come for discussion on UK slavery reparations. British lawmakers accuse Starmer of colonial mindset in slavery reparations debate. Recently, Starmer says he's open to talks on UK's past slave trade. Saudi Arabia begins construction of the world's largest building that could fit 20 empire states inside.
Biden says, men voting for Trump making mistake. Michelle Obama admits fear that Donald Trump could retake White House. Joe Rogan asked Donald Trump for specifics on how 2020 was stolen, then could only laugh at the answer. India hoping presidential election will not affect partnership with US.
The Telegraph comments as, after Israel's strike, Iran's ailing theocracy may be entering its dying days. Tehran air defense system shoots down Israeli-launched retaliatory airstrikes. Israel met all its objectives in Iran's strike, Netanyahu says. U.S. calls for Tehran's restraint.
Zimbabwe leader declines party's offer to stay until 2030. Venezuela accuses Lula of staging accident to justify BRICS veto. Pope Francis' Catholic Church reform process ends without giving more equity to women.
Vanity Fair comments as, with You've Been a Bad Little Girl, Tucker Carlson gave the most WTF speech of all time at a campaign event for Trump. Only a third of Trump supporters say they'll accept a narrow loss. Salon comments as, with Daddy's Home, Tucker Carlson's bizarre troll distills Trump's false promise to male voters. Russia provided targeting data for Houthi assault on global shipping. Putin says Moscow will respond if West helps Ukraine to strike deep into Russia. It has been commented as, Ukraine's deep strikes on ammo depots and weapons factories across Russia aim to weaken its war machine. Russian arms group warns it may halt exports as Ukraine war demands surge.
Nearly 1 in 4 French people believe that democracy is not the best political system. Hard-right Dutch government approves unprecedented package of measures to control migration. Italy's Meloni government pays homage to fascist defeat in key World War II battle, sparking opposition criticism. North Korea says, any troop deployment to Russia is in regulations of international law. The American Spectator comments as Kim Jong-un pushes South Korea and the world to the brink of war. U.S. approves $2 billion in arms sales to Taiwan, including advanced missile defense system. China vows to take countermeasures over U.S. and Taiwan $2 billion arms deal. China expanding nuclear arsenal at most rapid pace. May junk no first-use policy, says U.S.
Iran says 4 soldiers killed, radar systems hit in Israeli strikes. Iran should not respond to Israeli strikes, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says. U.S. warns Iran against retaliation, says it pushes for ceasefire deals in Gaza and Lebanon after Israeli strikes. Iran says Israeli jets struck Iran from Iraqi airspace. U.S. therefore complicit.
Philippines strengthens South China Sea strategy with $56 million Thitu Island upgrade. Top Chinese military commander visits Vietnam for talks on closer cooperation. China and Japan agree to boost maritime cooperation. Bulgarians head to the polls to vote in 7th general election in 3 years. And far-right tip to gain ground as jaded Bulgarians vote again. EU leader denounces Russia's hybrid war, aiming to destabilize Western Balkan democracies. Montenegro's 2028 EU entry goal is reachable, von der Leyen says.
Biden says Elon Musk was an illegal worker when he began U.S. career, and Elon Musk claps back at puppet Biden as he accuses Tesla CEO of breaching student visa norms. Donald Trump meets with Blue Origin execs the same day. Washington Post declines to endorse a presidential candidate. The Guardian's The Observer editorial comments as, Americans who believe in democracy have no choice but to vote for Harris.
Georgia's jailed former president says, Putin's Russia is not ready for a new hot war. A new Iron Curtain could protect us from Putin, says Polish President. Lukashenko says Russian annexation of Belarus means war. Rheinmetall to establish 4 defense factories in Ukraine, and Rheinmetall begins Lynx fighting vehicle production in Ukraine.
Putin once asked Elon Musk to not activate Starlink over Taiwan, as a favor to Xi Jinping, says in a report. Trump praises Chinese president for controlling citizens with an iron fist. Australia rejects visa application by right-wing U.S. pundit Candace Owens.
Intelsat's 33E GEO satellite breaks up in orbit. China sets new world record with 800,000 times more magnetic field than Earth's. AI can help humans find common ground in democratic deliberation, as AI mediation tool may help reduce culture war rifts, say researchers. COVID-19 linked to type 2 diabetes onset in children. Nigeria to launch 4 satellites to strengthen space tech capability. AlphaFold reveals how sperm and egg hook up in intimate detail. A study claims cats are almost liquid. Cats selectively rely on body size awareness when negotiating short openings.
Carbon Mapper shares the first emissions detection images from CO2 tracking satellite. ESA's Euclid Dark Universe telescope reveals first breathtaking images from massive cosmic atlas map. Prada and Axiom Space unveil NASA spacesuits to be used in Artemis 3 moon mission.
Alien life could lurk on Mars beneath protective ice, study suggests. Half of all global food threatened by growing water crisis, report says. Ultra-powered MRI scans show damage to brain's control center is behind long-lasting COVID-19 symptoms.
Disney developing Prince Charming movie lines up director Mr. and Mrs. Smith, casting new John and Jane for season 2. Billie Eilish among those rumored. Dirty Dancing being adapted as a new Broadway-bound stage musical.
Thomas Tuchel hired as England head coach ahead of 2026 World Cup. Famed Roman sculpture Apollo Belvedere re-emerges after major restoration. Call Her Daddy podcast host inks $100 million deal with SiriusXM. Britney Spears reveals she is writing a novel.
The dodo was not fat and clumsy, Study debunks the image we have of the most famous extinct bird. Daylight saving time clock changes have substantial, but short-lived effect on how much sleep we get. Standing desks are bad for your health, according to a new study, as standing desks do not reduce risk of stroke and heart failure, study suggests.
New research shows genetic adaptations help Tibetans thrive at high elevations. DNA helps match Wellman skeleton to 800-years-old Norwegian saga. Scientists develop DNA technology in data storage breakthrough. Cats can learn words faster than human babies, study suggests. Study finds most meteorites come from just 3 sources. Smoke pollution from wildfires may be killing an extra 12,000 people a year, new research suggests.
Tokyo Override CG anime hits Netflix November 21st. Dracula author Bram Stoker's long-lost story Gibbet Hill rediscovered more than 130 years after it was written. Biden to honor Steven Spielberg, Spike Lee, Ken Burns with National Medals of Arts.
Kurt Vonnegut's Lost board game, GHQ, is finally for sale. Britney Spears says she married herself in wild social media post. China hosts World Media Summit in Xinjiang amid human rights concerns.
Fans divided on Prime's upcoming Australian version of hit show The Office, as Australia's rendition of The Office proves women can be annoying at work too. Jennifer Lopez wants to make new album with big dance hit after Ben Affleck breakup, claimed by sources. Netflix forecasts 2025 revenue to be at least $43 billion, up 11% plus, as Netflix promises more content in 2025 after patchier than normal 2024 due to strikes. Tom Holland says he read a Spider-Man 4 script with Zendaya, but it needs work. Meta partners with horror movie maker Blumhouse Productions to test movie gen.
Guten partners with TikTok Shop, enabling shoppable commerce powered by print on demand. Instagram announces new tools to fight sextortion and help teen victims. Blue Sky gains 500,000 new users in one day after X changes how blocking works. Universal shares details on Celestial Park, centerpiece of upcoming Epic Universe 4th Gate in Orlando. Star Wars is finally canonizing its forgotten ugly rat monsters, as Star Wars Skeleton Crew will bring back the teak from Ewok movie The Battle for Endor.
Trump hurls a string of insults at Harris including lazy, a racist trope against black people. Trump raged at slain soldiers' funeral bill, with $60K to bury AF ****** Mexican. Trump fits the definition of fascist and said Hitler did some good things, John Kelly says. CNN host wonders if Democrats should drop the Latinx framing. Nikon 50th Small World 2024 Photomicrography Competition announced winners. First place goes to differentiated mouse brain tumor cells. Frankie Muniz announces he's becoming a full-time driver in the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Video of stray dog climbing Egypt's second-largest pyramid goes viral.
Hans Zimmer's Dune 2 score fails to meet eligibility requirements for Oscars. Disney removes Blade reboot from release calendar, replaces with Predator Badlands. Japan's online video sector will drive domestic screen industry. Total industry revenues set to hit $34 billion by 2029, as per MPA report.
ITV Studios launches Zoo 55 to lean into YouTube. Former Iron Maiden singer Paul Di'Anno dies at 66. Tom Holland to star in Christopher Nolan's next film, rumored to be a vampire movie set in the 1920s.
Conor McGregor to face sexual assault allegation in upcoming civil trial. 16 vloggers, TikTokers arrested in Pakistan's Punjab for spreading fake news of rape. Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 sets July 2026 release, following Avengers: Doomsday. Universal Music uses AI voice cloning tool to create Spanish-language version of Brenda Lee's hit, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Cable industry trade group sues FTC, seeking to block click-to-cancel rule. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass by up to 4 million subs, but at the cost of 6 million lost sales, analysts predict. Scots Children's Hospital introduces Gamer-in-Residence in UK first. Nintendo Switch Online playtest goes live, and players immediately leak gameplay and even stream it.
Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test set for October 28th to 30th for PlayStation Plus members. October 31st to November 3rd for all. Hidden 2,000 years old skeletons and Holy Grail cup found in Secret Tomb, where Indiana Jones was filmed. Hallmark did not want to cast old people like Holly Robinson Peete and Lacey Chabert, suit claims. TikTok will now show its STEM feed to adults, not just teens. Adobe made its painting app completely free to take on Procreate. In Poland, Antitrust Authority investigates Meta for limiting visibility of posts linking to Polish media.
ByteDance terminates intern for sabotaging project, dismisses reports on losses. In Italy, anti-piracy shield halts Google Drive. Bloomberg comments as, Russia's spies hacked the entire nation of Georgia. 3 months ago, it has been reported as, Russian spy service accuses U.S. of plotting regime change in Georgia. KSB, KZ acquires majority share of Turkey's Hepsiburada for $1.1 billion. FTC investigating John Deere repair practices. Documents show. Embraer CEO does not deny a possible rival to the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320, as Embraer CEO says jet maker studying possibilities for a new aircraft.
All new iPhone 17 Air rumored to feature single 48MP rear camera, 8GB of RAM. Reportedly, Blizzard could have turned Battle.net into a third-party game store years before Steam.
Tom Hanks says he and Forrest Gump co-star Robin Wright picked up right where we left off when reuniting for new film. Aardman and Mattel to co-develop Pingu animated TV series. Real Housewives of London coming in 2025 from Hayu and Made in Chelsea producer.
Fandom has toxified the world, says Watchmen author Alan Moore on superheroes, Comicsgate and Trump. Hideo Kojima games have already gotten big reappraisals 5 to 10 years after release. Now the auteur says he wants to make games that will impress space aliens centuries into the future. James Cameron says the reality of artificial general intelligence is scarier than the fiction of it.
Texas Instruments says it's nearing recovery after sales slump. ARM to scrap Qualcomm chip design license in feud escalation. TSMC told U.S. of chip in Huawei product after Tech Insights finding, source say. European Court of Justice rules against Sony in lawsuit over action replay cheats. The directive on the legal protection of computer programs does not allow the holder of that protection to prohibit the marketing by a third party of software which merely changes variables transferred temporarily to a game console's RAM. Intuit seeks to scrub CEO comments on tax lobbying from Tech Podcast. 5 years ago, it has been reported as TurboTax deliberately hid its free file page from search engines.
iOS 18.1 with Apple Intelligence to arrive in the last week of October 2024, Apple confirms. Google retires site links search box feature. Netflix shuts down AAA Team Blue gaming studio amid gaming shakeup.
XAI, Elon Musk's AI startup, launches an API. More startups are being spun out of Klarna than any other European fintech unicorn. Chinese humanoid robot is the fastest in the world, thanks to its trusty pair of sneakers. As sneaker-wearing humanoid beats barefoot bot on Gobi Fun Run.
Meta tests facial recognition for spotting celebbait, ad scams, and easier account recovery. Ireland's new online safety code to protect children on social platforms including Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. In the U.S., Biden administration proposes new rules governing data transfers to adversarial nations as U.S. moves ahead with crackdown on data brokers selling to 6 countries of concern.
Microsoft-owned LinkedIn fined €310 million by Irish Data Protection Commission. 16 months ago, Microsoft flags over $400 million charge for Irish privacy violation fine on LinkedIn. Perplexity CEO proposes revenue deals for publishers after lawsuit.
Flock Safety paid over $300 million for 17-month-old drone startup Aerodome. Apple sharply scales back production of Vision Pro. Kroger and Walmart deny surge pricing after adopting digital price tags.
Fortinet warns of new critical FortiManager manager flaw used in zero-day attacks. Efforts by Russia, Iran, and China to sway U.S. voters may escalate, new Microsoft report says. An investigation exposes data brokers using ads to help track almost any phone. Hundreds of doctors are demanding Trump's health records. Kamala Harris accused of entering law school under a hardship program she didn't qualify for. Bill Gates privately says he has backed Harris with $50 million donation. Huawei makes divorce from Android official with HarmonyOS next launch. Apple working on new App Store like app dedicated to games. Epic Games launches Fab Unified Digital Content Marketplace.
Graphene oxide and chitosan sponge found to be 10 times more efficient at removing gold from e-waste. Quantum secret of hydrogen bonds in liquid water revealed for the first time.
Video game libraries lose legal appeal to emulate physical game collections online, as U.S. copyright law forces researchers to explore extra-legal methods for game preservation, say historians who are disappointed after being denied a DMCA exemption. They wish this technology didn't exist. Perplexity responds to News Corp's lawsuit. 4 days ago, with content kleptocracy, News Corp outlets sue Perplexity over scraped stories. Meta strikes multi-year AI deal with Reuters. Delta sues CrowdStrike over software update that prompted mass flight disruptions. 4 evil ransomware members sentenced in rare Russian cybercrime convictions. North Korean IT workers in Western firms now demanding ransom for stolen data.
IDC announces that Chinese smartphone market continues growth streak with 3.2% rise in 3Q24. Apple shares private cloud compute virtual research environment provides bounties for vulnerabilities. Apple returns to top 5 smartphone ranking in China with iPhone 16 as Huawei battle ramps up.
Trump, who says he would fire Jack Smith within 2 seconds, moves to challenge special counsel's role in election case. Newsweek comments as, Donald Trump's McDonald's shift went down best with Gen Z. Trump says U.S. is like a garbage can for the world, as he rails against illegal immigration.
The Financial Times comments as, Meta criticized for calling its AI models open source. 2 months ago, Meta is accused of bullying the open source community, and 1 year ago it has been commented as, Meta's Llama 2 license is not open source by Open Source Initiative CEO. Mistral releases new AI models optimized for laptops and phones.
The Fediverse is getting its own TikTok competitor called Loops. TSMC faces severe challenges as free trade falters, founder says. Google prepares AI that takes over computers.
After promising full self-driving updates for years, Elon Musk finally admits that most existing Teslas may never be able to drive themselves. Mazda's new EREV promises 800 miles range, charges 30% to 80% in 15 minutes. Germany's Mercedes sees profits nosedive on weak China sales. Mercedes-Benz and Porsche hit by weak sales in China.
Notorious hacker group Team TNT launches new cloud attacks for crypto mining. CertUA identifies malicious RDP files in latest attack on Ukrainian entities. In France, hacker claims to have stolen data of 19 million free subscribers and 5 million IBANs.
North Korean hackers used fake NFT game to steal wallet credentials, claims a report. New Google cyber attack warning comes as Russian APT-28 hackers strike, with new cyber attack warning, confirming you are not a robot can be dangerous. Transact data breach exposes 92K users, employee phishing attack, ransomware group claims responsibility.
Microsoft unveils new autonomous AI agents in advance of competing Salesforce rollout. 1 month ago, Salesforce deploys autonomous AI agents, hailing the third wave of the AI revolution. IBM introduces Granite 3.0 as high-performing AI models built for business. Granite will become the default model of Consulting Advantage, an AI-powered delivery platform used by IBM's 160K consultants to bring new solutions to clients faster. FT reports that investors turn to data centers to capitalize on AI boom, and data center capital expenditure soars 38% amid AI boom. 3 months ago, it has been reported as Moody's report reveals surge in data center demand driven by AI boom.
Bloomberg comments as, AI detectors falsely accuse students of cheating, with big consequences in the U.S. Parents sue school that gave bad grade to student who used AI to complete assignment. Deep learning AI model scans dark matter of genomic data to find 70,000 never-before-seen RNA viruses. Anthropic CEO thinks AI may outsmart most humans by 2026.
AI search engine Perplexity's internal knowledge search allows both Perplexity Pro and Enterprise Pro users to search across internal files alongside the web. Penguin Random House amends its copyright rules to protect authors from AI. Meta introduces Spirit LM open source model that combines text and speech inputs and outputs.
Google launches Notebook LM business to make enterprise AI audio, text. Adobe Project Turntable makes a 2D vector drawing can be arbitrarily rotated in 3D, resulting in a 2D vector art representing the object from the new view. NVIDIA, MIT, and Tsinghua University led Sana. A text-to-image framework can generate images up to 4096 by 4096 resolution.
TSMC third quarter profit beats expectations as AI boom drives 54% hike. Reportedly, generative AI startups get 40% of all VC investment in cloud amid ChatGPT buzz. Amazon goes nuclear to invest more than $500 million to develop small modular reactors. In the USA, EPA can force coal-fired power plants to drastically cut carbon pollution, Supreme Court says.
Taiwan's Tsinghua University uses a photon to build the world's smallest, the single photon, quantum computer. OpenAI released a new approach, called SCM, in sampling procedure with high quality to leading diffusion models, while using only 2 sampling steps. Biden administration urges U.S. agencies to harness AI systems for national security, as Biden administration outlines government guardrails for AI tools. Google DeepMind is making its AI text watermark open source. Boy, 14, fell in love with Game of Thrones chatbot, then killed himself after AI app told him to come home to her, the mom. To keep deepfakes from infiltrating its site, Yahoo News enlists help from McAfee.
Amazon's AI data center dream runs into the reality of zombie facilities, higher costs, and labor shortages. Former OpenAI researcher says the company broke copyright law. Google's $2 billion Anthropic investment faces UK antitrust scrutiny. More than 11,000 creatives condemn unauthorized use of content for AI development. OpenAI hires former White House official as chief economist. South Arkansas could have enough lithium to meet projected 2030 global demand. Researchers say Arkansas may have 19 tons of lithium critical for battery power.
Runway Ari's research launches Act 1 to create compelling animations using video and voice performances as inputs. Asana announces AI Studio, no-code builder for designing and deploying AI agents in critical workflows. Stability claims its newest stable diffusion models generate more diverse images. Washington Post publisher says he killed Kamala Harris endorsement, not Jeff Bezos, said in a report. 1 year ago, Washington Post taps former Dow Jones chief William Lewis as new CEO. New York City Mayor Adams refutes Kamala Harris, says Trump is not a fascist as he urges Democrats to dial down the temperature. Trump floats ending the federal income tax.
Researchers say an AI-powered transcription tool used in hospitals invents things no one ever said. LinkedIn says it has verified 55 million users in effort to combat AI's spread of scams, misinformation. OpenAI CEO responds to report of GPT-5 Orion coming later this year, with fake news out of control, as OpenAI says it won't release a model called Orion this year. One day it had been reported as OpenAI reportedly plans to release its Orion AI model by December. Perplexity says it's now serving 100 search queries a week. Reportedly, Microsoft x OpenAI discussed buying Perplexity. A report claimed that Google targeting December launch for Gemini 2. Meta releases quantized Llama 3.2 with 4x inference speed on Android phones.
OpenAI to release new AI model Orion by December, announced in a report. Meta releases quantized Llama 3.2 with 4x inference speed on Android phones. They wish this technology didn't exist. Perplexity responds to News Corp's lawsuit. 4 days ago, with content kleptocracy, News Corp outlets sue Perplexity over scraped stories. Meta strikes multi-year AI deal with Reuters.
Musk has been in contact with Putin Russian officials since 2022, the Wall Street Journal reports. ISD report claims that Russian propaganda exploits U.S. hurricane response to undermine FEMA and Ukraine support. Mysterious monument on Capitol Hill honors January 6 with a bronze turd.
United Health says data of 100 million stolen in Change Healthcare breach. On February 21st, Change Healthcare was the subject of a cybersecurity incident that impacted the submission and payment of some health insurance claims and pharmacy benefits. In the U.S., CDC recommends second COVID vaccine dose for those 65 and older. Gambling poses huge global threat to public health, experts warn.
SEC charges 4 companies with misleading cyber disclosures on Unisys, Avaya, Checkpoint, and Mimecast. In the U.S., former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch and 2 other individuals charged with sex trafficking and interstate prostitution. McDonald's quarter-pounder burgers linked to E. coli outbreak.
Study shows that U.S. infant mortality spiked after the right to abortion was overturned. Obesity rates in U.S. not growing for first time in a decade, but severe obesity on the rise, as announced by CDC. Fire kills 153 people after fuel tanker crash in Nigeria.
In the U.S., Supreme Court rejects bid to let president fire agency leaders. TD Bank executives oversee $670 billion drug money laundering scheme, avoid jail. 10 days ago, it has been reported that TD Bank to pay $3 billion in money laundering settlement with the Justice Department of USA.
Teen smoking and other tobacco use dropped to lowest level in 25 years, CDC reports. UN reports that 1 in 7 children and teens impacted by mental health conditions. Ozempic shows promise for treating alcohol and drug abuse, study finds.
Google Scholar has a verified email for Sir Isaac Newton. Hackers reportedly impersonate cyber firm ESET to target organizations in Israel. As hacker hits ESET's partner in Israel to send malware that can wipe PCs, and ESET partner breached to send data wipers to Israeli organizations. Internet Archive breached again through stolen access tokens, as the Internet Archive hackers still have access to its internal emailing tools.
Trump fixates on Arnold Palmer as all-man in showers during profane rally. Dominion monitoring misinfo after Musk, MTG revive voting machine conspiracy theories. Elon Musk gives random petition signer a $1 million check as he announces $1 million handouts in swing states.
40% of men in Japan feel awkward at work after taking paternity leave. In Thailand, retirement age to go up to 65, as announced by the ministry. UK to reduce benefit cuts for indebted households, Guardian says.
South Africa has amended its research guidelines to allow for heritable human genome editing. Canadian Senate unanimously supports bill to enforce sterilization of Indigenous women.
A retinal implant helped blind people see again. Apple tests blood sugar app in sign of its health ambitions. Researchers discover waste disposal system in the brain.
Army ordered to release records on Trump's Arlington cemetery visit. Trump defends right to make threats against FEMA workers. Axios reports that Americans split on idea of putting immigrants in militarized camps. Man declared brain dead wakes up as organs about to be removed. Ghostly white giant worms appear to be reproducing under the seafloor where tectonic plates meet. Sotheby's to auction its first artwork made by a humanoid robot. Scientists propose shooting $200 trillion worth of pulverized diamonds into atmosphere as Harvard scientists think filling the sky with diamond dust could cool down the planet.
In India, 3 men tease leopard in Madhya Pradesh Shardul, then it mauled them. German police say pizza order number 40 came with a side of cocaine.
Trump appears to post fake image of himself as a star NFL player. McDonald's Donald Trump worked at failed last health inspection,